What is up, cupcakes? It's your boy Paperback Dan, and I'm doing something a little different today. Still kind of doing a review, but it's actually going to be a little bit more about a publisher than a specific book. I will be focusing heavily on one book, but overall, I just want to talk about a publisher that I just recently discovered via social media. They were promoting a Kickstarter for Tanakh #1. It's a book that's like heavily rooted in Aztec mythology, which I think is really cool. It's not something you see very often, so I definitely wanted to check that out. At the time of this filming, there's still a couple days left, and it's already over 500% funded, which is crazy. It means they kind of have a little following. It makes you think they, kind of have a grasp on what they're doing. But yeah, so the publisher is Konkret Comics, and they formed in 2018, and they have a handful of books already. Their first three, which two of them I actually will be touching on a little bit. Their first three were Acolyte, Odina, and Absolver, all released on the same day. So that's pretty cool, kind of a big deal. I feel like most publishers, when they're first starting off, they probably only have like one book or something. So they really like went all out. They had three right off the bat, and they've each got a few issues now. So I think that's great. And Acolyte and Odina, which are two of those first two releases, have been nominated for 7 Glyph Awards already, which, I mean, that's a pretty big deal. Anytime you get a nomination for 7 different awards, like, it's pretty remarkable. And their mission statement reads as follows: Our mission is to create stories through a diverse lens that appeals to all audiences of all ages, breaking boundaries and stereotypes, daring to be different. I don't know about you, but I like different, so I really appreciate what they're trying to do. And yeah, so I want to talk about a couple of their books. I bought some PDFs because they're super cheap. So if this video makes you curious about checking any of these titles out or any of the other titles that they have released, go the PDF route if you really want to. It's available on their shop, and I think it's like $2, which is pretty good. And they read really well. The PDF reader that I was using worked awesome with it. Can't recommend it enough. So, with that said, the first book that I read is Absolver #1, and the other book that I read is Watchmen #1. Both of those books, pretty good, honestly. I really enjoyed both. There is a third book that I waited to talk about. I don't know. I'm on Instagram and Twitter now, so if you saw either of my posts on there, you might already know what I'm referring to. But I recently got in the mail the first 3 issues of Acolyte. So that's the cover for issue #1. This one is issue #2. And issue #3. So honestly, I think these covers and the book in general is pretty dope. I read the PDF. I liked it enough that I went ahead and bought their little bundle that they had for the first 3 issues of the series. I haven't read issue 2 or 3. I kind of waited. I just got them yesterday, basically. But Acolyte 1 was really cool. And overall, all 3 books, they give me a lot of like early Image vibes, I think is fair to say. And anyone that knows me knows that I love Image, so if I'm comparing you to Image, I mean it in a good way. But yeah, the books are good. Overall, they're not doing too much. They definitely feel introductory. They don't give you like more information than you need. Like everything that you need to know is given to you. All 3 of the issues actually had like cool little epilogue parts at the end, which kind of like tease things for the future. Love that. I think that's a good way to like hook people without clouding like your first issue if you really wanted to. I will say the art overall, there's a couple points where it feels a little unpolished, but overall I really like it. Obviously the people that are on these books are very talented, and I'm really looking forward to seeing them grow as these books do, because I'm probably going to continue to get them. I'm not sure if overall this publisher is using like a shared universe of any kind. They do have a lot of pictures that, you know, show off their characters all in one shot, which I think they all look awesome. But I don't know one way or another if the universe is shared. I want to think it is. It would be kind of cool, but you know, it's okay if it's not. So with that said, I want to talk about Acolyte a little bit. You know, I kind of touched on the publisher overall. I've had the pleasure of like interacting with them a little bit on social media. They were really cool to me, answered some questions that I had, helped me out a lot, which I really appreciate. I think that's a good business model for growing publishers. But anyway, back to Acolyte. So here's number one. I opened this. That's the only one that I took out of the bag. I don't want to get my greasy paws on the other books. And here's what the back looks like. And this book, like the physical version of it, is really high quality. It's miles better than anything that I've been getting from like Marvel and DC all these months that I've been doing Wednesday Warrior videos. But it reads really well. I was flipping through it earlier, and it feels good. It feels good in the hands. I don't really want to show off anything because I'm pretty big about not trying to spoil stuff for you guys. But it's good, and I think as much as it applies to Acolyte, it also goes for Watchmen and Absolver. Like across the board, like all these books are pretty fun, which is my favorite thing about comics. Like it's a hobby, you know, so it being fun is like the number one factor for me enjoying it. And with Acolyte, the book kind of starts off with you getting like this guy's origin in a sense. He goes to this planet and meets a character that kind of explains things to him. So he's like learning more about himself. And he also meets some pretty intimidating people. And that's kind of cool because there's some like teases, which I appreciate. And overall, like, again, I don't want to go too heavy into the spoilers. I think it was really good. I'm absolutely looking forward to reading issue 2 and 3, so I'm glad that they got here. And speaking of them getting here, I also wanted to give them a huge shout out for how fast they got my stuff to me. I ordered the book, it was probably like 10:30 at night on like a Thursday or something, and my order shipped the next morning. It was incredible. Even like it could have been the only order they got that week. I don't care. The fact that they wasted zero time is absolutely impressive to me. And I got it within a matter of days. I think that's fantastic. Honestly, it's great customer service. It was packaged really well. So they know what they're doing. It makes me think that they're taking this seriously, which I love, because people that are passionate about the things that they do are going to do their best work, I think. I've said that before. I'm sure I'll say it again. So across the board, Konkret Comics has really impressed me so far. If I needed to find one nitpick, I guess, one issue, for the sake of like seeming unbiased or whatever, the only thing that I notice is there probably is some like editorial stuff that needs to be touched up on. Other than that, I really had a hard time finding flaws with the books. You know, they're not perfect, you know, whatever, but they're what you want from comics. Is what I want from comics. So, you know, across the board, Acolyte, Absolver, Watchmen, I like them all. I'm gonna pick up more of the issues. Obviously, I have Acolyte already. I will probably get Odina and maybe Andy Starboy next. But yeah, So last thing, their book Sister Circle actually just came out, I believe, this past weekend. So that's pretty exciting for them. They've got like 5 or 6 books at least now, which I think is great. All different creative teams as far as I've seen. And yeah, so if, like I said, if this book, or this review rather, sorry, made you curious about checking them out at all, definitely go the PDF route if you're not sure you want to straight up get physical. I love physical media, but I don't mind saving a few bucks to test something out first, because your boy doesn't have it like that. But go the PDF route if you're not sure. They read really well. I can't recommend that part enough. And also, if you go to their shop, they have merch. I love merch. They've got beanies, hoodies, shirts, sweatshirts, all sorts of stuff. I'm having a hard time figuring out what I want to buy first, because I'm definitely going to get something. I like, that kind of free promo, and I have no problem being a nerd in public. So I'm absolutely going to be hitting up the store soon to get a shirt or a hoodie or something. So yeah, with that said, this is my Konkret Comics overview. I really enjoy what I'm seeing. I can't wait to see more. I hope that you guys check them out. And if you have any other like smaller publishers like this in mind that you know of that no one else is really talking about, send them my way. Tell me about them, show me where to look, tell me where I can check them out, all that stuff. Because this is like the first time I've really done something like this, because Konkret Comics, they sell their own stuff, they self-publish and all that. They don't have, a big corporation or anything like that. So this is like truly, truly independent stuff. And this is like my first foray into that, because usually I'll get like Image or Dark Horse, Boom, etc. So this is exciting for me. And the fact that it was good makes a great impression. So I'm really excited about the Kickstarter that I backed. Again, a couple days left on that. So if you have any interest, check it out. It looks pretty good. The art looks great. I'm excited about it. And I think I'm going to close this out. So me and Connor will be back later this week with Wednesday Warriors. And with that, I will see you guys then. Peace.